What is up, you guys? My name is Tuudys.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Will.
All right, y'all. So we just got back from watching The Nun 2. It's been a minute as well since we've done like a movie review or like a review of a show type deal.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I think the last time was Quantumania. Honestly, when I think about it. All right, man. So what you thought about the movie?
This is one y'all need to go see. I wasn't a big fan of the first Nun. I was skeptical going into this one, but to me, this one delivered. It started off kind of, it was, I don't know, when it first started off, it was kind of moving kind of quick. It wasn't really making a lot of sense to me. The pacing was kind of off, but towards the middle and towards the end of the movie, it settled in right where it needed to be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about how quickly it was moving. Mm-hmm. I also just felt like that was kind of chalked up to them possibly just paying attention to what they did in the first movie. Because the first movie was way more long, drawn out than this one. Like, they just back to back. But I thought it was cool. As far as like an overall movie, it definitely redeemed itself. Yeah. I can say that it redeemed itself from the first one. And to say that, not to make it seem like, we don't like the character. Oh, the Nun, the character?
One of the best characters.
It's up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Nun really did the Nun that it need to do.
But, yeah, man, like I say, if y'all are thinking about going to see this movie, movies they need to watch going into this movie.
Honestly, for me, I'm going to say you need to go and watch the first Nun. Now, I can't say that part because I don't want to spoil anything. But I would say if you're trying to figure out who certain people are and where they come from, I would go back and watch the first Nun, of course.
Yeah, I think the first Nun, Annabelle Creation, and the second Conjuring. I think those three movies, if you watch those three movies, if you're just going in blind and don't know, somebody just drag you to the movies and you're going to go watch The Nun too, I would watch those movies beforehand. That's Annabelle Creation, the first Nun.
Oh, I was saying the first Annabelle.
Yeah.
Why you say
Creation? 4 movies, yeah. The first 4.
Why you say Annabelle Creation?
Because it was in the goat was in the bottom of the...
That don't really matter, though. It matters more about the first Annabelle.
And then they kind of had Nun references in the Annabelle Creation as well. Yeah. So I would say the first 2 Conjuring, it's 4 movies. The first 2 Conjuring, Annabelle Creation, and the first Nun. I think you would know what's going on in this movie. That was our non-spoiler part. So we're really about to get into the movie now. So if you don't want spoilers, just click off the video now. Go watch the movie. Come back. Watch us. And yeah.
We're about to get into these spoilers. So we can stop. All right. And 3, 2, 1. All right. So by this time, you have time to, click off the video or whatever if you haven't watched the movie yet. If you're one of them people, it don't bother you if you hear something about the movie or whatever, you can still go watch it. That's cool too. But man,
started off quick, didn't it?
Listen, like The Nun is not playing around like whatsoever. Like instantly, soon as the movie comes. Nah, I'm not gonna say like soon as the movie come on.
Yeah,
but
it was pretty.
Well, I'm saying like not like bam.
It was some build up. So
I'm not literally saying like soon as the movie came on. It's just as far as like openings for a movie, this is definitely up there in the conversation of that opening was like really good.
Yeah.
It had me from the beginning.
Yeah. And it wasn't one of those openings that didn't have anything to do with the movie, cuz you see that a lot in horror movies. Like it'll be a good opening, and then you go, by the time the horror movie's over, you're like, man, that really didn't have nothing to do with the damn movie.
Or you be like, we ain't even see them people no more.
Yeah, like it actually made sense and it tied in towards the middle end of the movie. So so right off the jump, they're getting your attention. Okay, you're going to have to sit your ass down and pay attention to what's going on.
So it's rare that I try to take notes when I'm actually going to go see a movie, but I try to like jot down important parts that happen in this movie, and I have quite a few, which is really crazy to me for a horror film, because I try to just watch it without that distraction of trying to take notes. But I was like, this movie is like too good to not take some notes. So basically, the beginning scene, I labeled it the basketball scene. It just, you're used to people like kicking an object into a dark hallway or area and it getting pushed back. Like, we've been seeing this since like Poltergeist back in the day. Like, movies that, you know, give you that whole object, throw it back in your face deal. Yeah. But it's just the way that it was done. And especially with that particular person, it's like, he didn't even have anything happen to him. And it was the little boy in the movie or whatever.
I mean, we still, you know.
This is true. Yeah. Now, I thought they was going to spin something with him at the end, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty good for an opening.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the opening credit scene, it gets your attention quick, because it's like she said, it's the boy kicking the soccer ball into the to the dark room, Valak kicking it back, he kick it back in, some shit happens. Now, I will give him credit, because most kids would have, you know, stayed and seen what the hell was going on. He actually ran to an adult and be like, hey, man, some shit over there in that corner.
That boy said somebody's here.
Yeah, he said somebody's here. And so the preacher man, he like, okay. And so Valak starts making noises and gets both of their attention. So they go to the main, what you call it in Catholic, like the main altar or
I was going to say the foyer, but yeah,
altar, they go to the main altar, and it's like a little pillar with like steaming water in it. And,
it's where the holy water is. The holy water the bowl.
Yeah, the holy water bowl or pillar, whatever you call it, is steaming, like it's evaporating. And of course, it's against like a dark room or a dark part of the wall or whatever. And you see Valak's hand just reach around, which
she was killing.
That's why I love this character so much.
Movie.
And I think I said this in our Nun 2 reaction. Like, the way that she just comes out of walls and, like, that hand wraps around the wall as she comes out of a picture. And we're going to get to that damn magazine scene in a minute. We're going to get to that, but I'm trying to give y'all what we really thought about the movie.
Normally, you'll get irritated by a character or a person doing the same hand gestures or movements over and over.
It works.
I never got tired of it.
Never get tired of it, because it's like... And then it's like they did a good job in this movie of, like, you would expect to see Valak, the nun. You expect to see the nun like in a certain area, and it wasn't there. And then like when you kind of wasn't, you were still expecting it, but your mind kind of got a little lazy with expecting her to be there. She was there, and they did a very good job of it. But yeah.
Man, all I know is, as well, to go back to that basketball scene very quickly, I would have kicked that ball, ran up them steps. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm creating a distraction. Ain't no way. No, I'm not going to stand down there. Nah. But, like, it was crazier even after that. Like, she set a freaking priest on fire.
Yeah. I'm talking about, this is like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Like, and it was so crazy because I'm like, are we going there? Mm-hmm. Like, we going there. And I'm used to seeing, you know, other movies do gory or just pushing like, you set a priest on fire.
Yeah. And I like that because it's like all that, like when a priest starts praying, and usually when a priest starts praying in these type movies, like, it can gain control of the entity or whatever. She like, nah, I'm in your house. I'm under your rules.
That'd be the worst
part.
And
I'm still finna kill you. So it instantly showed like her strength, you know, from the prior movie off the rip. It's like, okay, well,
she was like that in the first one. Yeah. Because it's like she came to them in the chapel. Like, she was killing nuns, like, from the jump. Like, coming down the hallway, whoosh, turning off the candles. Yeah. Turning off the candles. Blowing out the candles as she walked through the corridor. Yeah. I'm like, man, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, and the part of the person that was leaving was very important. I did not realize it was Maurice's character.
Frenchie.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was his character until they came back around to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew it was going to be somebody important because the way they showed him walking off, and it's obvious that the spirit and entity, demon, whatever you want to call it, took over. I don't want to say spirit. But okay. We're going to try to, like, make this quick because I got, like, a few points here because there's something that I do want to mention. I don't know how y'all going to feel about it, but also the craziness of when the delivery girl got killed. Maurice is in there going crazy.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, man, it's two things going on. Somebody, like, they handling business. Or, you need to mind your business, little girl. And she just started walking on to the back. I'm like, that don't sound right. Sound like he gargling.
It sounded like he was using mouthwash or some shit.
Yeah, like gargling mouthwash. And I'm like, that don't.
Mind your business, baby. I mean,
that was creepy as hell. Yeah. Even that little hand thing again with Maurice. Man. I was like, the lady that plays this character, she is killing this. Like, I was like, bro, I didn't think the little girl was going to get killed. Nah. And then when it happened, I was like, wow, we are really. Yeah. Like, we going there. Mm-hmm.
They went there.
Like, what did you think?
Of that scene or just.
Just up until that point.
Yeah, man. Like, like I say, from that first scene, I was with it. And then leading up to that scene, that scene, did that scene happen at the school?
Yeah, because technically Maurice's room is like not that far.
Yeah, so he was like he's basically from the end of The Nun 1, at the end, Valak somehow, captures, or like, what you want to call it?
She possessed him.
She possesses Frenchie Maurice at the end of the movie. So he's going from town to town, and everywhere he's going, she's killing a certain descendant of a certain family, basically. Yeah. Which I think, did we get into that? We didn't talk about the family yet. Mm-mm. Yeah. So basically, she's sending him from town to town, trying to get him to kill descendants of the Sophia family, which was a pagan family. No, they were killed by pagans.
Descendants of Lucy.
Yeah. Where the fuck I get Sophia from?
I think Sophia was a little. It was because that little girl was there, and it seemed like they were gonna tie her in some type of way with something, but she really didn't just do too much anything. She was just a connecting factor between, a safe space for Maurice.
At least right now, anyway.
Yeah, because I was like, and that's another. I can't get to that yet.
It's a lot, man.
But okay. Actually, we can get to that, because the only thing I was going to mention next was the dream that Sister Irene had. First of all, don't stand outside my bed. And she had one of them closed-in beds with, like, the little sheet. Yeah. And then y'all already nuns. Y'all be dressed in all black with the little white. I really didn't see no white.
And it don't be no lights on. Like, lights be off. Like,
I can't stand yellow light bulbs, and these people utilize the heck out of some yellow light bulbs in this dark building. This is a castle, whatever it was. Yeah. Turn on some bright lights. These, cause No, then you got candles lit everywhere. You can't see nothing.
Shit is creepy as shit, bro.
That lady was standing out. You have a visitor, and I was like, that ain't them women that's with her. And that dream that she had, that was crazy, because Maurice was like downstairs or something with his back turned. I was like, whoa. Like, I was like, oh yeah, they doing their thing with this movie. It was like so much going on.
Yeah. So what happens after that? So basically the movie.
This when the magazine scene came up.
Yeah. So basically, Valak is taking Maurice from town to town, killing descendants from the Lucy. That's her name. She's getting him. Well, she's killing descendants from this family called the Lucys. That's their last name, or?
No, the woman's name was Lucy, and these are descendants of people in her family. Her family had to. Basically, the story of Lucy. I don't know how religious people are, but
I ain't never heard of this story. So I don't know.
It could be deriving from a different story, or it could be a Catholic origin story as well. Yeah. So I'm not really Catholic. So
if you know,
hypothetically, because we don't know for sure. Hypothetically, if this isn't a story, it was about Lucy. They killed her in her town. She was killed by the pagans, and they tried to set her on fire. She didn't catch fire.
Body didn't burn,
her body didn't burn, so they killed her, and they cut her eyes out. So the eyes became a relic because it was very powerful. So obviously she got family. They ended up having to move away, and they went to different areas of like Romania, France, like just everywhere all over Europe. So like at this point, like that's what they're like finding out. Okay, she wants another relic, because that's kind of what Valak wanted in the first movie. The relic.
Valak is after this relic because, okay, now we can get to the preacher scene. Well, the librarian scene.
Yeah.
But so basically, like her and Maurice are going from town to town, killing the descendants from the Lucy lady. So the Vatican and the big church, they go to our sister Irene, tell her, look, you dealt with this motherfucker before. We need you to do it again. So her and she was like, no. Yeah, she was like no at first, but I guess rules, and they tell you gotta do something, you gotta do something. So she gets on the train, and what was the girl's name? Listen,
I forgot Storm Reed character name. I was just happy to see Storm Reed. Storm Reed. No disrespect to nobody, because acting is not as easy as it seems, but they didn't get it. That baby didn't have nothing to do.
Yeah, her character. Now I did enjoy her character. She was for moral support. Yeah, basically she was.
And a babysitter.
Support. Yeah, but I'm glad she was in the movie. I'm glad she got a chick to do this movie. But,
oh yeah,
and then towards the end, she was funny as shit towards the end. So
yeah, you needed that little comic relief, because I need somebody to be like, oh, snap, what's going on, and reacting like, nah, I ain't messing with that.
Yeah, so her character, which I can't remember her name, Storm Reed's character and Sister Irene, they are going to try to find Valak, which at this time they don't know that it's Frenchie. So they get to some place, I don't know, somewhere like close to France or whatever, and
they went back to the original place of where the previous priest was burned alive.
They went to the when the wherever that was where the priest in the first scene of the movie died. That's where they went to investigate his murder. They find out a few things, and this is when the magazine scene comes. Now, the magazine scene in the trailer was one of my favorite parts of the trailer. It looked very good. Even though you see it in the trailer, the movie does it way. It just does not take away from that scene. That scene still delivered, and that's saying something.
Because it seemed like it was way quicker in the trailer, and you would expect it to be, but they paced it very well. It wasn't long and drawn out. It was the perfect timing on it. Like I was still on the edge of my seat, even though I've seen this in the trailer. Like I still was watching it like I didn't know what was about to happen.
That's one of the best. That was one of my favorite scenes. One of my favorite horror scenes in a long time.
Because the nun, she just know how to pop out and just get you. Like, it don't matter how... She could have just scared you previously before that. Yeah. She gonna get you again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that and... there was something else that happened. Not to just get too, like, play-by-play, but that scene with... that... I don't know if you would call that a headmistress of the school, because that's normally what they call them, was like all in the school. Yeah. But that scene where the nun used her dead son to kill her, I'm really like, oh, y'all are ruthless. And like, y'all, I know there's like way worse stuff that's been done in movies. It's just that envelope being pushed in this day and time. It's been very rare. So I was like, oh, okay. Y'all are like coming with it. That scene was very nice, because it was just crazy to see her possessing this boy that's already passed away. Yeah. And you just moving him like kind of how the lipstick demon did Dalton when he was under sleep paralysis or in a coma or whatever was going on. So I thought that was like super dope.
Yeah, she kind of went out of bed. That was kind of fucked up the way she got killed, especially by her dead son, who she was already mourning. It wasn't like that, he died and she kind of forgot about him. Like she ended up locking up the
chapel.
The chapel. She locked up the chapel because that's where he died at. The chapel was in the same building as the school. She just locked up the chapel because that's where her son died, and she didn't want anybody to go in there.
Because a bombing or something happened, I think they said.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So now we're about to really get into the parts of this movie that we really want to talk about. Mm-hmm. A little while after this is when stuff start ringing off, like trying to connect this movie to other movies because they didn't have to do this, but they did, and now our wheels are turning. So the little girl Sophie is like obviously, well, not obviously, y'all haven't seen the movie yet. When you see the movie, you'll see that Sophie and Maurice have like a very they have like a bond with each other. Sophie wants Maurice and her mom to get together, you know, dad figure type stuff. So she's watching him through the window, and of course he's having like a little episode because Valak is like talking to him and messing with him. So he's just staring off into space. Her mom comes up, you know, oh, what are you doing? Basically, mom is like figuring out her game. You trying to hook me and this man up. Mama walk off. The little girl noticed Maurice out here going crazy. It reminds me of the scene in Haunting on Hill House where they were like glitching or something. But then the little girl, mom starts calling her. It's not really her mom.
Yeah.
And she started going up these steps. These steps dark as hell, y'all. And this is where they rooms at.
Yep.
She started walking up the steps. She done passed the second floor. This baby done ended up on the third floor. It don't look like nobody be up there. It's even darker than what it was on the second floor. Mm-hmm. Why this little girl turns around, and what do she see? She see the door being closed behind her in another room.
Yep.
She goes to open this damn door.
And this when the movie changed.
And what was in there?
So when she opens the door, excuse me, let me get my voice right. Excuse me. When she opens the door, all you see is the wallpaper from the scene when Lorraine in The Conjuring 2, you see that long hallway when she was on the other end looking at Valak for the first time. The first time she actually seen Valak in the flesh.
And she saw her daughter standing in the hallway, and she walked up like, "What are you looking at?" And the daughter's like,
pointed
"It's
down
a
the hallway,
woman."
and then she looked down the hallway, and it was Valak in it. That exact scene, but it looked like from the opposite end of, because in The Conjuring 2, it was, that's for sake of conversation, let's say in The Conjuring 2 it was from left to right. In this movie, it was from right to left. Like it looks like she was the one looking down at Lorraine. Get what I'm saying? So I don't know what that part of it was, but
see, that's what made me feel like towards the end that she, instead of her chasing down Sister Irene, like how I was thinking that she was gonna do this whole movie, she's gonna go back and chase down Lorraine.
Yeah, and that's another
putting it like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that blew my mind. I was like, why do we have this scene in here? What does this mean?
Yeah.
Because I looked at him and I'm like, they connecting dots?
Because really,
like,
I've always had a theory. Like, The Conjuring 2 is my favorite movie out of this whole universe, whatever you want to call it. But it never made sense why Valak was going after Ed. Like, I never, like, even watching that movie, it's like, it just did. Now it makes sense. I don't think that Valak is going after Ed. Was going after Ed in The Conjuring 2. I think she wants Lorraine. Because we think Lorraine is a descendant from the Lucy. Lucy, yeah.
Because, like, I mean, we could say this part because it don't really matter. Towards the end, Sister Irene ended up being a descendant of Lucy. Mm-hmm. And this is just a fan theory from us. It would be dope if some type of way they would tie in Lorraine and Sister Irene, because in real life they are sisters. So they could kind of pass them off to be descendants or related to one another, because they actually are related to one another.
And if you look at the time frame, this movie here was in The Nun 2 was set in the 1950s. From what I recall, I think The Conjuring 2 was from the 70s, mid-70s, maybe early 80s. It's not that big of a time frame. So, frame, it matches. And, so...
I don't know if they would be able to make them sisters. It would have to be some relation, like aunt or cousin or something, to not make it too weird. Because, that wouldn't be her sister. She wouldn't still be alive, possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was dope. All right, another scene that got us, bro. So like, it was like a little running joke with these kids about the little goat on the stained glass. Man, like, for you people who don't like Annabelle, which I do not,
still don't understand why y'all didn't like Annabelle, man.
But that goat from Annabelle popped his ass right on up in this movie, and the way he pops up in this movie, I'm not even gonna spoil that for you.
Yeah.
Just know that he back, and it was insane. It was crazy.
Because, and that's why we told y'all to go back and watch the first Annabelle creation, because his scenes, we don't know if it goes to he or she, but anyway, the goat scene in those movies was like one of the best top scenes in those movies.
It was creepy.
But watching those movies, you like, where does this motherfucker come from? He don't have nothing to do with the main entity. Like, I remember watching those movies, I'm like, it's just like,
always...
because it's like, you just thinking like it's just another, because horror movies do this a lot. They'll have like the main villain or the main spirit or whatever, and there's always something like in The Conjuring 2, you know, you think the crooked man is just the crooked man, which we'll get into that. We don't know if that movie is ever gonna come out. Basically, what I'm saying is they throw other spirits or entities to kind of throw you off, and they end up having nothing to do with the movie.
Well, yeah, I think that's like their thing. That's what I was kind of saying when we came out of the movies. Like, that's their avenue that they take, because if you think about what is the Further? If you think about the Further, and especially with the most recent Insidious, the Red Door. Heck, when they were in Dalton's dorm room, him and his friend from school, it was other entities coming from underneath the bed, and they're like, oh, well, he's weak. You know, anybody that's weak, I want to get him. And they're kind of fighting for... Yeah, so whoever's trying to latch on is trying to latch on. So that's how I always, you know, looked at it like that. Like, but I get what you're saying. Like, why do these two particular entities run in the same circle like a clique?
Like I'm saying, watching the earlier movies... Like, yeah, it was scary parts when they showed up. The elevator scene in Annabelle, and then when the little girl, they were playing hide and seek under the stairwell, and he popped up under the stairwell in Annabelle Creation. Like, it was a good jump scare, but who the fuck is this damn goat? Like, why does this movie explains who that goat is. And you're like, oh, okay, because when you see him, and especially, that's why I say, the way Storm Reed kind of showed him, that shit was perfect.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes into the whole Baphomet ordeal, because they were calling him the devil in the movie. Like, the little girls was trying to scare each other with that. So yeah, they try to tie in a whole lot of biblical stuff, man. If you gotta read your Bible. You gotta read your Bible. But I mean, yeah, as far as, something that I wanted to point out, I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this. You may be up in arms about this as well. Valak gives me the vibe of, and I was comparing Valak to I was saying to myself as I was watching the movie, especially after this, I think it was after Sister Irene had her dream. I was thinking about it, and then when she went to go find the little boy that was with the priest, and that last got killed, and the way it transitioned from her talking to this little boy and chasing after a group of kids, and then she was alone in the corridors of like a
town or whatever,
or an alleyway, I should say. It reminded me of Freddy Krueger, and I was like, Valak is kind of. Like, depending on who it is and how spiritually inclined you are, if you're very close in spirit, whether you be a nun, a person that prays, or anybody who's just highly religious, she will attack you in your dreams. Yeah. And she will make you think that your reality is a figment of your mind. Yeah, like, Sister Irene went from conversing with this group of kids to... It was almost kind of like how Freddy treats you in a dream world.
He'll put you in a dream and you like super isolated, but it's.
But you think that it's reality.
He does it in a way based off what you were just doing. Like, if you look at the first Freddy Krueger when she was in the classroom and she dozes off, don't know she dozes off, and she wakes up, and he's basically continuing your reality. That's basically.
But you don't realize that you in a dream.
I see what you're saying. That ain't too far off.
Because once the magazine scene ended, we actually saw where Sister Irene actually was. She was laying on the floor in her room.
Yeah.
And Storm Reed's character was trying to wake her up. So she wasn't even actually outside. Because in my mind, you know me, my little mom stuff kick in because you know I'm a nurturer. Why these kids outside playing football late at night? It look like it's 1, 2 in the morning. What they doing? These kids like 12.
Because that's okay. So that's what she caught up with the little boy from the first scene, where the preacher got burned, and she asked him a few questions about
the rosary beads.
That's when he gave her the rosary bead or whatever, and she asked him questions about what he saw when the priest got burned. Then, but like you say, it's like super late at night. These kids are out running around, and then like with the lady told him about his mom. His mom was super guarded with him because of what he experienced. So why the hell would he be out at 11 o'clock playing soccer? If
that's what I was thinking.
So
I was like, she wouldn't let him be
yeah.
outside. Like what?
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, this movie was fire, man.
Yeah, it was a lot more that happened after that. We gonna save that for y'all to experience in the theaters. I know it seems like we did talk about a lot. This is just points of the movie where, for me, this is where the nun, and they turned the nun around. If you were kind of you didn't really like how the first movie went, this movie definitely made you be a fan of the nun.
Basically, and I think Tuudys would agree. When we found out the Nun was coming out, that hype everybody had for the Nun 1, and when the Nun came out, it kind of died down. The Nun 2 puts that hype back in for me. It got me right. That feeling I had before, learning when that first Nun trailer came out, that excitement I had for that one, this movie here gave me that feeling back again. So
same for me, because I always judge it off of would I watch this again.
Oh hell yeah.
I can't wait for this to come out.
Oh, yeah.
On DVD, Blu-ray, whatever we watch it on. You know, I ain't want to say streaming service because you know I always say that. I mean, I can't wait for this movie to come out because I feel like I missed some stuff. I need to go back and watch some things. I kind of missed that priest scene with Sister Irene. I kind of want to dissect that more.
The librarian scene. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the librarian.
He was joking and saying that I should call myself a librarian because he's mostly in the library.
But I think that scene there is going to be one of the biggest scenes in this whole universe's history. When they get done with these movies, that scene ties up a lot of things, a lot of questions that you may or may not have about this movie and this entity and kind of what's going on. Because now, like, this whole Conjuring universe, like, we've kind of... It's kind of like they've been putting out movies and it's not really a nucleus around it. Now we have I feel like after this, The Nun 2, we kind of have a nucleus based off of Valak gets after that holy power because he explained how she used to be an angel. She was cast out and she wants that holy power again. And that relic that from the what's the lady's name?
Lucy.
The relic from Lucy,
which is some eyes.
Which is basically some eyes, but it's in like a little box or whatever. That relic can give her the power that she was looking for, which she did end up getting at the end of the movie. But she just so happened to run into a descendant of Lucy who was able to overpower her. That's why I say I think that Lorraine is a descendant from Lucy as well, because what else could Valak be after? We know what she's after. This movie was here in the 50s. The Conjuring 2 happened in the 70s. That was 20 years of her still going after what she was after.
Yeah, like
she's after that power, and the only person that can give her that power are descendants from
Lucy.
They're the only people that can stop her. So... Well, I don't know if she's after to kill them or she's after, because I don't know if the relic was destroyed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't think that she was after Ed in The Conjuring 2. I think that she was after Lorraine. But like I said, we'll see.
Hey, I'm just like, at this point, because it got to be something. Like, Valak is definitely after something. And, like, when you watch these movies, especially The Nun, you have to remember this predates what happened in Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
even though you see something happen at the end of this movie, remember, The Nun did pop up in The Conjuring 2. So that's like The Conjuring 2 is happening after. So she came back. She came back weaker. It was obvious that she was weaker because that's why she was after Lorraine. And that's why it kind of makes sense if Lorraine is a descendant, because Valak was weakened at that point.
Yep.
Especially after the end scene of this movie.
Yep.
So, and to segue into end scenes, got an end credit scene, if you didn't know. I don't know if y'all one of the people who stay in the movie and look it up as you sitting there.
Because we do.
So, like, maybe like 3-4 days ago, it was sometime earlier in the week, I saw a movie poster for The Conjuring 4. I saw it on Facebook. Take that with a grain of salt. I looked it up on IMDb. Is this for real? Sure enough, it was for real. Yep. Now, when it came to the posters for it, they looked like fan-made posters, right? So I couldn't tell if they just planned, or it's obvious they didn't have a plot. But now we know for sure that it was 100% legit, because the end credit scene was a scene where it was calling up Lorraine and Ed, and it was the priest obviously asking for their help again.
Yep.
Ed is past. Did he get past the phone from Lorraine? He's like, how can we help? So they back on the hunt again. I was about to say Scooby-Doo, we on the way, because they act like they was finna get in the mystery van and take off. So I don't know what.
I don't think it's the end of Valak, man. I think Valak is gonna be back. I think that, round 2, Lorraine and Ed, and round 2 with the Warrens are on the way. I'm guessing that's what the Conjuring 4 is going to be about. We'll see once we get there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Excited, man.
I wish I would have known a little more, but hey, they got to spoon feed us a little bit. Then, of course, I don't know. We don't really know what's going on with this writer's strike. So they may just keep the plot of this under wraps for quite a while. I'm going to get on IMDb when we get done filming to see if they've updated it since the movie just came out. But they may not, because the movie just came out. So I may have to check back, next week. But hey, man, I was thoroughly thrilled with this movie. It had its points where you like, all right, what do Valak want? Like, what do she want? Like, I'm kind of confused. What do she want? But it's like towards the end, you got more answers as to what was going on.
Yep.
And the scares were definitely there.
Yeah, man. Jump scares were there. The plot started off kind of slow, but then it kind of it got where it needed to go, and it kind of tied up the future. It kind of tied up the future, and it kind of tied up some things from the past that we had questions on too. So I was thrilled about the movie, man. I think that you should go see it if you're on the fence. If you're a fan of these movies, go see it, man. You will not. I don't think that you would be disappointed. Me personally, it's not for everybody, but for me,
you just gotta go into these movies. Like, stop taking these movies so serious. Yeah. Because there were some people in our theater. It was obvious they don't really watch these movies, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not the Conjuring police, like, telling you gotta go watch these movies. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you say a movie is whack, but you didn't do your due diligence to go see what the heck was going on. Even if you didn't even if you didn't go watch the movie, read about it. If you don't want to read about it, just go watch the other movie, because sometimes you can miss things. But hey.
And I do think if you don't know anything about these movies and you go see it, I think you'll enjoy it. That's how good I thought the movie was. But yeah, man, that was our movie review to the new movie, The Nun 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, go see it if you ain't seen it.
Leave some comments. What do you think about what we're saying? What do you think about our theory? If you haven't seen the movie yet and you watched us this far, go watch the movie, then come back to the comments and let us know what you thought. Let us know what you agreed with. Hey, if you don't agree with it and be like, I don't think y'all know what y'all talking about, hey, comment. We like to dialogue. Maybe we didn't catch something. We're not going to be right about everything. Maybe we need to be corrected. But I do know I'm probably going to turn one of these movies on when we get done, because that's how you know I'm hype about a movie. It was that good.
That good, man. like always, man, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Like she say, if y'all know anything that we may have missed, leave it in the comments, man. And until next time, man, we'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.